I haven't added Eileen yet. I need to do that for the client work here.
Pardon, Che?
I didn't add Eileen yet.
Okay. 7.30. 7:30. Calculation. 7:30. Ay, Lord. Almighty.
Yeah, I added Eileen. That's done. Julio, did Eileen have any internal ops work?
Eileen, just a minute. Where's Eileen?
I can add her to internal ops as well.
Eileen tracking. Eh, saan ba yun?
Che said he added Eileen where?
In the client and the internal ops. Eileen, where is Eileen? I don't know. Maybe point 5. Maybe this one.
This? I don't
And
know.
then internal ops. Internal ops, yes, internal ops. Recruitment. Oh, I think she did some recruitment. Maybe here. Needs to be normal voting form, maybe. Just live. Delete.
Oh. Even in the internal ops, Mamun has only 1.25. How many has did he has?
Ate, your efficient work for internal is more than okay.
It's okay, I'll correct it.
Jobs.
Just for average or on the efficient.
Yeah, I didn't refer to soon. The 8 maybe 10. This one maybe 10 maybe. Why why all the same amount? All the same.
Yeah, I'm looking into that right now. It's a little odd. Oh,
All
I
the
see the
same.
problem.
What's the problem, Jeff?
It's just not done correctly. It's just,
Please also check for Mamun. I don't think you should be having only 1.25 hours.
Yeah, none of these are correct.
Hmm?
So I lean up,
Correct.
lean zero here. Zero, this one is maybe 25. This one is
So maybe
maybe
someone like dragged down or something. It might have been me even, I don't know, but it's just not correct.
zero. Is zero.
But easily fixable. Easily fixable. So 4, 3, mine looks correct. And all good. Okay. So Alberto's 31. So this is the problem as well. So it's going to be 35 to 41. This is 42 to 46. This is 47 to 49. Why are you adding in efficient hours for Alberto?
It's estimate, Jay.
Your estimates are extraordinarily high.
I, where?
20 hours for staffing? That's not an estimate. That's just like making up information. It's not real.
No, 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 I mean, it's, I did not add this yet.
Okay.
What's it called? From the start only,
These
I,
are like not even correct numbers. So let's get the numbers correct and then we can go.
yeah.
We can always ask Alberto to do his own as well.
Okay.
But I would estimate on the low side of things.
Actually, I did not do this 10 hours, 10 hours.
So I don't know why this is negative 10 hours. Oh yeah, that's because you're putting the 10 hours there, yeah.
Yeah, because there's 10 hours. What's this? This is
So
four.
showcase, I don't remember us really doing much for the showcase. Payroll, obviously we didn't have much efficient hours. I guess 0.5 hours is fine. Perfect. Okay, that all looks good. That looks good, 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 good. So let's check Joyce. So 30, 34, 35. Yeah, yours is correct. I wonder why those other ones weren't correct. It's so weird. And this is all correct too. Huh. All right, cool. So that looks all good. So let's check out the calculations
So for
again. See,
Mamun is correct.
we're up to 562. Mamoon,
560.
what? Is for client work or internal ops?
Internal op.
Mamoon. 45. Oh, yeah, this is weird. So this should be 30 to 434. This is strange. Why?
Hmm. 30, 34, 41,
And then this one is 35 to
6,
41. Then we
49,
have 42 to 46,
42,
47,
41,
49, 54 to 62, 58 to 79.
7,
All right. So, anyways, it looks good.
7.
So, I think we are done with all of this. So, the grand total for the income looks like about $562. So, from here, we could work on. Oh, the thing with the bonuses in this one is that my understanding is that the budget, there was no bonuses in the budget. So, I think we're just ready to go on to the next moon month, but we could stop for today and do more tomorrow or next week or whenever we want to do more.
We
But
can announce also that everybody can do their
Yes, everyone can add their hours if they like, for sure. But the responsibility to finalize payrolls is always going to be up to whoever wants to get paid.
Yeah, so we will announce whoever wants to get paid or something like that.
Sure, whatever you want to do, but it's like you both are the ones who are most interested in the reconciliation, so therefore you have the most responsibility. Okay? That makes sense?
Mm-hmm.
But I think for me, I'm gonna stop, and I need to get focused on doing that, doing the voting form.
Okay. Sure.
But overall, I think we're making a lot of progress. I mean, the other moon months should go just as quick, so we could easily be done with this in a few days. Like, it's not that difficult. It kind of sucks that we have 5 moon months instead of 4, because that adds 20% work, but it's still very, very doable to get this all done pretty quickly. So as far as finishing this up, the only things that are really left is the actual budget, and updating the budget correctly. Um, and then other than that, all the calculations I just need to do. And I think in this particular month, if there's zero bonuses, then we could skip the bonuses for this month and go on to a different month.
So there is a main session. Is it main session on Monday?
Yeah, so the goal is to get out the voting form by tomorrow so that people can vote before Monday. So hopefully I can do that today. So that's kind of what I want to get focused on, is getting that voting form updated. But you know, I'm willing to work on this more, like Cobalt or Sonic or whatever. But I feel like I need a break for now. We've been doing this for a couple of hours now, and it's a lot going over all of these detailed numbers. So, oh look, the total went up to 622.70. Higher.
What is the session about? What is this session?
Okay, Jay.
Yeah. Are there any other questions on this, or? And
What
obviously,
was
No.
your question?
get working on the other moon months. I mean, this is doing the payroll correctly. So that's the whole goal here, is just doing the payroll calculations, and that's what we just did. So I think it all looks really good.
Yeah, I have a question, but no, I have a worry, but it's not on this one. So I don't know if we are done with this. We want to check out or wrap up.
If you have other questions about something else, it's fine. But let's make sure we have clarity on this one. I'd say the other thing that obviously needs to be done is we need to do the minimum wage calculations and just make sure everything is calculated for the correct total pay. You know?
Minimum wage.
Minimum wage.
Calculations still have not been done.
Minimum wage calculation. Wage calculation.
But other than that, I think this is pretty much correct as
Wage
far as like the
calculation.
expected amounts based on the work output and everything.
Okay, so next is the other, next month, right?
Whatever month that you want to do is perfectly fine. But are there any other questions?
Any other question?
For 117, it's 117 no for me.
Or for anything else? Are there any other questions for other months or other
Yes, I have a worry on the 45E, even the 165 for the bonus. I thought for everyone their bonus for 165 is their base pay. But I was surprised that my bonus was not my base pay. I don't understand why. And by the way, I have sick leave of $50. I don't know where it is.
Okay, so let's go over it. So we're looking for the 45 degree. So remember, there's two spreadsheets. One is the
Yeah, I'm talking of the final. I see something is going on Discord like the final, something like that. The final spreadsheet.
Line 70. That's the link.
go.
Final payroll verification.
I'm gonna go into topic 0. Okay. I'm
Hmm.
gonna go into topic 0. Is that all right? Topic 0.
Yeah, I have also a question about the back pay.
Can you guys hear me or not?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So so you understand there's two separate spreadsheets. One is for the estimation and one is for the actual calculations. That makes sense?
Payroll.
Mhm.
Okay, that's the one.
So we're going into the final verified calculations, right?
Mm.
Mhm.
Is that where your questions are? Line 6, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
Okay, so
yeah. So
yeah,
the
line
final is
six.
in the line 8.
so there's no guarantee that after you do the actual calculations, there's no guarantee that the bonus will match the base pay, and most people it doesn't match. So for you to say your question is what how much you're getting for your paid sick leave.
Yes, it was $50 for 165 after our
Okay.
calculation.
So let's open. This is the 45 degree, or no? This is the 165.
65.
Okay, 165. So for 165, we would go into the spreadsheet for 165. Do we have it here? Yeah, automated spreadsheet. I'll put that in the note. Line 11. 165 automated spreadsheet. Line 11.
But these figures have changed. Before 45, mine was $11. What happened?
11. What are we talking about now?
No, no, just go ahead. Just go ahead.
Okay. All right.
45.
So, anyways, we just verified the calculations. That's all we've been doing is verifying all the calculations for the bonuses. Oh, wait. So, go to Ateh. Oh, okay. Ateh. All right. Here's all right. So, I can't totally tell you the truth, but basically, what we have calculated is your paid sick leave came out to $2.66. So let's check out your paid sick leave. So we have 1 hour. So your total hours tracked for that week was your total hour tracked for that week is 29 hours. So the maximum number of hours of sick leave that you can get is 1 hour because 30 hours is the total for full time. So
Yeah, I don't
you can't
understand.
say so like let's say you work 30 hours in a week, you can't say like, "Oh, I'm taking sick leave for the whole week after I worked for 30 hours and so I need 60 hours of pay for the week," right? You can't do that. That would be against policy to get double paid for the week. So if you're sick,
So
you're sick.
divided by 2.
If you're not sick, then and you work 30 hours in a week, you're not sick. Does that make sense? You're just taking a weekend or whatever. Does that make sense? So you can't track more hours than is your full-time pay.
So are you saying if I'm taking a paid leave for the week, it will be 1 hour for the entire week?
Is the maximum sick leave because you already worked full time, right? So if you're working full time for a week, there's no additional sick leave. If you want more pay, that's back pay proposals or, getting extra money on top of your full time work, right? So if you're gonna work full time for a week, then you're not sick. Does that make sense? And the same thing is with
Yeah.
vacation. So if you're working full time for a week, there's no vacation because you're working. Does that make sense? So you track 29 hours. So let's say somebody tracks 30 hours for a week. If they track 30 hours for a week and then they say, okay, I also, want
Have
to
sick
do
leave.
30 hours of sick leave for the week, the total comes to 60 hours, which just doesn't make any sense. Like you can't track 60 hours of work for the week and say you're sick. It just doesn't add up, right? So the maximum total hours that you can track for a week of sick leave is 30 hours, is the maximum number of hours. Because anything above 30 hours would be overtime. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I don't know if that answers your question, but if it's just about the sick leave, your total sick leave was reduced because of the fact that you already tracked 29 hours. So it can only add one additional hour of sick leave. So you have $65.83 of bonuses.
That's what was there before.
So we can do a reconciliation if you want. I mean, I'm down to double
But yeah,
check.
how was the calculation done in such a way that some people their base is equals to their bonus, but some people is different. It doesn't make sense.
Okay.
Well, I can go over the calculations again. Let me just double check here on yours just to make sure everything's
18.6.
okay.
6.
Base upfront calc. So your base upfront calcs for Ateh was $70.54. So let's see if that came out correct. $7.54. Cool. So that's correct. And then the bonus, just to double check and verify the bonus, came out to 63.17 plus the 266, which is 65.83. And there were days here where you overtracked your overtime, like we talked about. So you can't have more overtime than you have hours worked. So that's the only other issue that you could address. But overall, when you look at people's calculations, your overtime is maxed out at your base pay, right? So somebody who had more overtime than they had base pay would have equal to their base pay, right? Some people can have less, and then some people can have more than their base pay based on sick leave and um, holiday overtime hours. So it just depends on each person's situation whether they would have more, less, or the same. Does that make sense? And the reason that people get maxed out on 2 times their base pay is because if you paid people more than that, then they could get paid more than double, if not triple, their salary. So if you have, let's say you're doing a full time night, so you're working night hours between 12 a.m. to 6 a.m., then you get 2x night overtime. So if 100% of all work hours were from 12 a.m. to 6 a.m., the maximum bonus overtime would be equal to 2x your base pay. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
So it's just not possible to have a bonus that's higher than your base pay, because otherwise you would be getting possibly double, triple, quadruple the budgeted amount. And again, just to remind us, my biggest issue with the 117 bonuses is that basically there's no budget for bonuses at all.
So how was the 145 calculated? Was the 45 calculated?
The same way, right? So if we go to the 45 degree, I wonder if I have that linked here. 45-degree automated spreadsheet. Here it is.
45.
So I mean, 45-degree bonuses is kind of like a joke because no, like 5 hours of client work was verified. So it's just like nobody did anything for 45 degrees. So no one really deserves any bonuses at all.
I mean, talking of the base, I want to see how the base was calculated.
The base, I don't know about the base, but you had, it says you had 19 hours of base value that was put in here. And then the bonuses, it says it was just maxed out at your base pay of $35. So if you go into the base pay, base upfront calc, we have
Because to be serious, Jay, when I
$5.
see someone like Mamoon and Umar, they're having the same amount as me, I'm just pissed off because I'm practically doing the work that I'm in short. I don't know what's going on. I need to know how these calculations were done.
I don't know what's going on either. Like the fact no one's doing any work and everyone wants
133.
so much money is just mind-boggling to me. But your calculation came out to $10, and we added $25 to minimum wage, so it's 35.47. Mamoon came out to $5, and then I think it was because his minimum wage was possibly changed from before. I don't know. There was an issue with all the minimum wages that I wanted to be verified. Let me double check. So 165, and go to base upfront calcs.
This is just ridiculous.
No, it's the same.
Meaning someone can just fold his arms and sit, and then he knows that his minimum wage is going to favor him, and then that's it.
What is it? What are they doing?
Meaning someone can just work like some few hours and then just sit quiet because he knows that his minimum wage is going to favor him.
I don't know what is getting favored or not getting favored, but I don't even know if this was calculated properly, but we can double check it. So the 120 says 56 hours. I don't know. Looks okay though. So you're just saying that, I mean, your minimum wage is basically the same. We can try to double check the total hours, but it's like you said here you work 19 hours. The moon only has 40 hours, so it's all related to equity. So let's look at the equity calcs. So for equity, you
Okay,
have
let's just go ahead.
hours, and the moon is 55 hours. So I don't know. It's all very strange to me. I don't really understand it either. I think our best bet would be just getting focused on doing work. The whole idea is that if everybody just did the work, everyone would get their stipends. Like that's how it's always supposed to work. You just do the work, you get your stipend. The only reason anyone's getting less in their stipends is because they're not doing the work. So I don't know what to think about it. It's very odd, whole thing. And I don't know what to think about Lucy getting like $200 of her bonus for 45 degree either. I mean, nothing happened in 45 degree. Why are we giving a $200 bonus to Lucy for 45 degree? I have no idea, right? But it's in there because that's under our policies, because our policies are not based on client work and actually doing any work because we got rid of all of our deadlines. Because if we had our normal policies, she would never be getting that $200 because no work happened. So we would be on upfront pay stop, which would affect all of the like you can't just leave, not have anyone do any work, and then come back and get paid $200. Like that's not how our old system worked. But in the new model for the management, you can do that, which is what is insane. So I don't know how to deal with that except to just say, okay, Lucy gets her $200 if it's approved by UNCA. So we just have to figure that out. But either way, the main issue of all of this is that these are only the calculations for the actual payroll based on the fact that little to no work got done. So we shouldn't be expecting people to get paid thousands and thousands of dollars for doing no work. It just doesn't make any sense. That doesn't happen anywhere. Right? So the question about the money is really all comes down to back pay and additional bonuses for extra pay since no work got done for 45 and 165. Right? Does that make sense?
Yes, Jay.
Yeah. So for me, that's the main discussion is in the back pay, and that's why I want to make sure we get the back pay proposal. And just to kind of go over, like what Mamoon sent out was what we discussed yesterday, but there was another part that we discussed yesterday that was not included in the voting form. So I can quickly go over that right now. So basically, we had the 7 months of bonuses. So the 7 months of bonuses came out to $2,300. Then we have the token valuation additions, right? And that we said we could do as much as $3,000 to the token. So everybody's tokens will be much more valuable, and you could sell your tokens if you want, right? Then we had, and this is sort of instead of the reconciliation since we didn't have a reconciliation completed. Then we have the back pay, which would be an additional $1,275. Then we have the budget, which was an additional $1,875. So the total for all of that was going to be in the range of $8,000 to $9,000.
Bonuses, addition, fee.
So for me, the final payment proposal was going to be something like this, based on yesterday, of what we talked about. So this is what I was going to put in the voting form. For me, this is basically a $9,000 proposal in
Okay.
relationship to putting some of the money towards moving forward, some of the money going into the back pay, getting everything evened out, getting the bonuses, getting you know our tokens much more valuable for our past work, and then from there moving forward. So that was the overall proposal, but what Mamoon put out was only the 7 months of bonuses and the token valuation addition. He didn't add the back pay or the budget. So if we want to add additional back pay, we can discuss that. We're also discussing adding additional budget. It looks like Sandra wants to be included in the budget as well. So that all needs to be discussed. But overall, we are that's the
I would
direction.
equally like to be included.
Okay, Sandra, Tay,
Me also.
Joyce. So, anyways, we're gonna discuss that on Monday. But
So, Jay,
yeah,
okay, so I got a question.
yeah,
This budget we are discussing right now, are we supposed to maintain our last budget or can we change it? I don't know.
it'll just be like any other month. Everything is this. The policies are the same. So Everybody's budgeted amount will be verified based on their pop, and if their pop is too high and they can't be included in the budget because the team blah 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 blah, they would have to propose to the HR board for preemptive budget changes. Otherwise, we have to pay someone based on their pop. Does that make sense?
Okay, so all the amounts I saw in the on your notes yesterday were for, I think, Mammon, Lucy, were the amounts on their pops.
Correct. Verifying their amounts of the pops, and in Mamoon's pop actually has increased by like 200%. He's doubled his pay rate, if not more
Yeah.
than that.
I don't even know why he's increasing it.
I don't know.
By the way, if we have to set a new team, we'll have to talk about it because it doesn't make sense that others should be killing their ass, bringing the income, and then others take it to their houses. All of us need to work.
Yes. So, anyways, that's the direction that we're going. But I want to do the voting form, and either way, this voting form and everything we talked about yesterday is was under the old assumption that we did not have the final verification prepared and ready for the reconciliation. So that's it's still not ready, but we could have it ready by Monday or next week sometime. I mean, we did 1 month, so we just have 4 more months to go. We add it all up, we calculate it out, and we can see what the totals are, either up or down in relationship to the pay for each person.
Yeah, we can
The
meet again tomorrow if you're
Yeah,
available.
yeah. So overall, like we can add in and change the 7 months of bonuses to change it to 1 year of bonuses based on the reconciliation being completed. Um, so it's just a matter of and that money would come out of the token valuation. So whatever whatever we decide to increase for token valuations or back pay, I mean, we're just basically going to need to make it all add up within the $9,000 and try to figure out how to move forward with all this. So, anyways, the point is that there was a lot of pressure yesterday during the session to do it quickly. Primarily, in my opinion, from Mamoon, and then secondarily from you know a little bit from
Let's see.
maybe see I don't know. It was she wasn't really mainly it was Mamoon. But anyways, the point is that it's like people want to get the money fast because they just want the money, and Mamoon was complaining about like the whole id situation and all of that was really bad for him. So it's like, but the bottom line is that
It's bad
no one did
everywhere.
the work. Yeah, it's bad for everybody. No one did the work. No one has a right to get paid quickly and immediately without getting agreement. All we need is agreement, but the agreement is the hard part. So we have to do the work to make sure everything can be verified and everybody feels good about the amount of money that is being agreed to because it is complicated and everybody was upset about how complicated things are, primarily that the payments intertwined with the budget, intertwined with the back pay, intertwined with move forward and all the other UMCUS issues. It's just like there's so many different components. So we just have to go through each one at a time. The one part that we did not address at all yesterday was the UMCUS expectations for the payment. So we have the $5,000 payment proposal, but we did not address the UMCUS proposal that goes along with that. But anyways, I don't think we're in a hurry. Let's just take our time, do the reconciliation. If this is what the team wants to do, so as long as the team is not against the reconciliation, which at this point it's still the majority supports it, we have plenty of time to do it and doing it correctly, and then it should eventually it'll be done and we'll have the totals and we'll be able to verify it based on how much people were paid before. But a reconciliation doesn't necessarily mean it goes up or down. I mean, you just have no idea. You just have to do the numbers, do the calculations, and we find out at the end what it all equates to. But we did 1 month, so 1 month is down. We figured that out. That's good. And we have and my understanding is that for the 117 moon month, that there's no bonus budget, which is unfortunate, but hopefully that's different for other moon months because I think we did increase the bonuses. And then the team income is $622.70. So that's a good start, but we certainly have a ways to go. Okay.
Okay, Jay.
About the back page that I asked in Discord, why it is deducted when I sent already the Data ML?
So I mean, we can always send you back the $92 of T2ML if you want. Like, I can do that at any time. But the bottom line is that we're proposing to add back pay into the budget, and that's part of the budget proposal, right? So one of the options for the budget will include the back pay. I support the $1,275 back pay. If we want to add more than that, we can discuss that as a team, and whatever we need to do to get agreement on it, we'll figure it out.
Because what's the difference of sending the what you call that, the Data ML, and the others are not sending, and still I'm deducted from the this
We
total.
asked you to send $150 of T2ML. You sent more than $150, so that doesn't change. Like, if someone says, "Oh yeah, send us your $100 of T2ML," and they send us $1,000 of T2ML, we're not going to automatically send them $1,000. That's not how it works, right? It has to be budgeted and approved. So if you want, I am perfectly happy to send you back the $92 of T2ML right now if you want. Do you want me to send it back to you, or
No, you can do it later. I mean to say the 150. Is it correct that I will be deducted still from the calculations because I already
unless
sent
unless we approve the back pay for the $1,275
the
in the
one
budget?
before?
Yeah, so let's just go ahead and approve it, and then let's just move
Yeah.
ahead.
So the goal
You
is
mean
to
the
approve the back pay of the $1,275, and then it will no longer be deducted, and then we can talk about adding additional back pay. Okay.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyways, my goal of this all is to get it all organized and clear, um, so that we can understand it, right? And so the overall calculations are going to be like, we had the estimate. The estimate was like, okay, let's just throw everything together and get a quick estimate and see what. And then we got everything estimated from like basically $4,000 all the way up to $34,000, right? So that was our estimate. But now we're trying to actually do verified calculations. So with the verified calculations, we have, base pay, we've got bonus pay, right? And then we have, and these are based on income, which is low. If our income is low, there's not a lot of money coming in from the income and the bonus pay, right? Then you have your back pay, and then you've got your future budget, right? And then you've got your UMCUS, and et cetera, et cetera. So when we break all this down in the verified calculations, anything above our income and above our actual bonuses is going to be part of the budget as the back pay. Does that make sense? So I'm fine paying more. So if we calculate the entire reconciliation and it comes out that people are going to get less money than we thought, that doesn't mean you can't get the money. It just needs to go into the back pay discussion. Does that make sense? And then if the reconciliation comes out that everyone gets thousands of extra dollars, then we pay the thousands of extra dollars as part of the bonuses, and it goes into the UMCUS decision, right? Unless it's part of the base pay, but we'll see whether that works out or not. So hopefully that makes sense. But the bottom line is that it needs to be organized and clear exactly where the money's coming from, exactly how and why it's being spent. And ideally, we'll have verification for bonuses and back pay in relationship to work output achieved, so that everything is fair and is all equitable. So, anyways, I'm not saying that this is a great process, and obviously we're disorganized. It's a big mess, but this is what is required in relationship to making sure everything is verifiable, right? So we're almost done with it. I mean, there's really not much left. All that we really have left is just this reconciliation, which is a mess, but I think it's not any different than anything else we've ever done. It's just the work. If we do the work, it'll be done in a couple days. And then the hard part is just getting agreement on the back pay and the UMCUS loans, right? So the UMCUS loans is going to be, and the back pay is where it gets more complicated. I think the 1,275 is basically get like pretty much approved already. Like I don't see any reason why this wouldn't get approved. And the 2,300 is already basically approved. Um, so what that means is that the hardest part is going to be getting more back pay, right? So getting agreement on additional back pay is going to reduce the budget in relationship to continuing to work. Anything related to UMCUS is going to be a huge process to get the expectations met for the client. It's all doable. I don't know how long it's going to take. It might be another 1, 2 sessions. It could take longer if there's disagreement, if people can't compromise. So anyways, that's all I can really say about it. I think we're making a lot of progress. I'm very happy that everyone came to the main session tomorrow. Everybody was very sad that you both were not present. And I'm also very pleased to be meeting with you today. So if you have any other questions or want to go over anything else, I'm perfectly fine doing that. And hopefully you'll be there on Monday. We can see where things go from there.
Yeah, I won't be there, Jay. I
Yeah.
don't have any problem continuing or whatsoever. It's just that seriously, I have been sick all this time that we have been having all these quarrels. After the quarrel, I will really get weak. I don't really feel fine. So I don't just want anything that will just push me to get angry or start shouting. So that's why I was just avoiding the session yesterday. But let's just say, hopefully, on Monday we'll be more matured. Let's see how it goes. But if it's just the quarreling, I'm no longer there.
Yeah, and I mean I agree with you completely. Like this all makes me sick. I pretty much like shut my trap and I stay okay. I'm a 2 or I'm a 1.9 or I'm a 2.2 or whatever. I mean, I'm obviously not feeling good overall. It's very taxing on me. But
Yeah.
either way, everybody's having problems, and I 100% agree that I have been feeling better since we took a couple weeks reduced intensity, right? So
Hmm.
I think it's helped all of us kind of take a step back and see how things go. But there was no question that if you listen to the recording from yesterday, which you don't need to do, but like everyone basically was not going against Mamoon or anything, but basically was like, Mamoon, stop! Like the way you're talking, it's just like all of this pressure to like yes, you want your money, so does everybody else. Like why are you trying to push this in a way that's just to get the money quickly instead of doing it correctly and actually taking the time. And Lucy, her main issue is not necessarily the money. She doesn't really care about the money, which is rare in this particular situation. Um, but what she does care about is she can't emotionally and mentally and you know just take the intensity of the arguments and the name calling and all of the issues both on Discord and during main sessions. She just wants to everybody would prefer to address the final payment, get everything dealt with, get rid of the legal action, all that stuff, and then deal with the new budget. But it's just not really feasible. Everybody also would like to get paid, right? So it's like
Yeah.
there's both of these things that are happening where it's like, okay, yes, we would love to wait as long as it takes to do the whole final payment as a team, as an organization first before even discussing the budget. But at the same time, it's like, okay, we need to do work. People are going to get paid. People need reimbursements for their internet. Like Lucy, she can only do probably like an hour for the internet on Monday, right? So she's just not
Yeah.
able to
And
attend. So in that context, my personal goal for Monday would be to get agreement on a budget for who would be approved in the budget to move forward in the team. So that can be done very quickly and easily, much, much easier than getting agreement on the final payment and the $9,000, right? So is that could easily happen on Monday, or at least get a retroactive agreement where if people start working and we work towards agreement on the budget, that the full moon would be the beginning of the reimbursements and the pay for if we're successful with everything, right? So for me, that is something I would like to achieve for Monday if possible. For those who do want to continue. But either way, it's not going to be easy. There's still a lot of UMCUS issues, even with the new budget and all of the new policies and everything. So, anyways, we'll go over those when we are ready. Or if you have questions, I'm happy to answer.
No, for now I don't have questions about that. It's okay.
All right. Okay. All right. So I will, unless there's any other questions, then I'll just check in later or tomorrow or whatever. Okay.
Yeah, we can. Joyce will be available tomorrow. Andromeda 3. I'm available, Jay. Joyce will be available. So we could continue with the
Yeah,
reconciliation
let me see. Let me see.
at least.
Can we equally announce in Discord to so we can be helped in putting the hours and all?
Yeah. Because if we
If
were not putting
anyone
the
wants,
hours,
just
if everyone had put their hours, would have gone really faster.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So we'll try and
yeah, if
see, and if
We
we
can't
could get
count on
like
everyone doing it. So keep reminding everyone to do it. But even if they don't do it, I am willing to do whatever it takes to just go through and manually input every person's hours as long as we do it together. Yeah?
okay, Jay, no
Like
problem.
we did today, right? I mean, it was a pain in the butt, but it only took what, like when all three of us were working on it, it went
Yeah, it was
like
really
an hour.
fast.
So yeah. All right.
Um,
I'll check in
but
more.
the other issue is right now I just have the same issue like Lucy, because by Monday 22nd my internet is gonna expire. So I don't just know.
Yeah, it's a tough one for sure. So that's why that's partly why I would like to support the new team to get a budget approved by Monday or like the full moon, and then it would be like a half month budget, which would include potentially like a half reimbursement or even a full reimbursement depending on income and everything. So again, the hardest part of all of this is the UMCUS proposal, and obviously pay above and beyond what has already been agreed to with the back pay is going to be difficult, but we can certainly discuss it. But the UMCUS is the evaluation of what happened over the last 2 months and what we're changing. This is related to the new budget, right? So there's two UMCUS discussions. Let me write this down in the notes because it's very important to understand. So where are our notes? These are our notes right here. So I'm going to
Mhm.
top 0, line 50. So we have UMCUS for the payroll, right? Payroll. And then we have UMCUS for the budget, right? So this is the UMCUS loan, and this is the UMCUS credit, right?
Mhm.
So the bottom line is that the budget is where you put the back pay, because all the back pay affects the budget, and then the payroll is going to be all the bonuses. So all the bonuses, this is the past, and basically there's no evaluation, and we should be able to approval of our terms, etc., and it should be very easy, right? The UMCUS budget and the back pay, on the other hand, it needs to go into the future, and so this needs to do a full evaluation on what happened. For example, um, pay 100% dependent on income, like in client work, which currently it wasn't that way. Currently, it was only like 33% or 66% based on client work. So that would be one thing, and then basically, no client work is equal to no pay, and then also that no client work would be equal to no minimum wage, right? So this is some serious discussions that need to happen in terms of how things are going to evolve moving forward that we could talk about on Monday. But either way, I don't think we need to finalize this on Monday. Like, for example, we could say, okay, proposal, approve the budget based on HR board verification and certification and UMCUS approval retroactive for the full moon April 22nd, 23rd. Right? So if we approve a proposal for the budget, with reimbursements, et cetera, then we could move forward with people expecting to get paid, but it might take us 1 to 2 weeks to finalize the UMCUS agreements, in which case these agreements would be the foundation to the retroactive budget proposal. So we don't have to get UMCUS agreement on Monday as long as we get UMCUS agreement for the certification of the budget. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of like the goal for Monday. We already basically have a draft budget, and we're looking at option 3 would include, Lucy, Mamoon, Sandra, Ateh, Joyce, right? And then the other people that we've not heard back from is Gloria and Uma. So let's send a message to Gloria right now because I don't know why she's not communicating. But I think that's pretty much it. At Gloria, are you interested? So for me, my decision, obviously I'm not the only person making a decision on this, but I don't want any money in this budget. So even if I'm included, I'm still going to be a $0 come next month. And the main issue on this budget is like if everybody wants to be in the budget, it is what it is. But then it's like, okay, we need to seriously consider the back pay. Like the more back pay is a smaller budget, right? So that's kind of my determination on how many people we can fit in the budget. I mean, right now I feel comfortable with getting 2 people in the budget and 2 substitutes. That's basically guaranteed. But as we go up to 5, 6, 7 people in the budget, I think that's just too many people in the budget. But depending on the policies that we agree to, if it's all about client work, and if we agree to, okay, no pay without client work, no minimum wage, all that stuff, then it's like the decision making on who gets into the budget should be based on who is doing the work, and that would be an evaluation and ranking. And if you're not doing work, you shouldn't be in the budget, especially if everybody's pay is going to be based on client work. If you approve workers into the budget who are not doing work, then you're not going to get paid. Does that make sense? So we need to create a model that's accountable to the team. Like everybody has to be accountable to doing the client work and making sure that the income's happening and that we're moving the organization forward. Otherwise, it detrimentally affects everybody.
Sure.
So you guys can't go around telling people that they don't have to do work. It's like in the new team, because that you're not going to get paid based on these new policies we're discussing. So the policies seem minor in context because it's just a few words. It's like, no pay. I mean, it's like that's kind of, but the changes are very minor in the wording, but are major in the outcome, because the outcome of these policies, if approved, would significantly change what we currently have which is that people can get paid for basically anything to basically, if there's no income, there's no pay, right? And that is not a kind of situation that I would want to be in. I think the in the past it's been pretty cush that we in the fact that we're spending how much did we spend? We spent $2,733 over the course of 2 months with less than $500 of client value. So you can imagine what would happen in the new policies that if there's only $500 of client work value, instead of $2,733, and this doesn't include the $1,275 of back pay. So the total with the back pay is over $4,000. Instead, it would be $500 over the last 2 months, right? So that's a major, major change by almost by almost 8 times less money for just that minor little small detail in the policies, right? So anyways, I just want to make sure you guys understand how serious these discussions are in terms of the continuation of the team and what it might look like, but this would allow the team to do whatever it wants, right? So it is this change of having saying well, we don't get paid for not doing client work anymore, which we used to get loans. There'd be no more loans, right? All that would go away. So which means if the work doesn't happen, there's no loan, there's no client work, there's no money. And then that would just be the end of story, right? So that sucks. But on the other hand, you can do whatever you want. So it'd be your own, but the new team would control the organization, and you don't have to have any deadlines. You don't have to actually have any accountability. You can basically do whatever the hell you want to do. As long as the work gets done, the money comes into the team, and you can even run your own payroll process, whatever you want to do it, because it's your own team, or whoever gets approved into the budget controls the team. Does that make sense?
Okay, so no pay stubs.
We already don't have any pay stubs.
Okay.
Yeah, but Jay, yeah, there will no pay stops. But the way you're saying it, that's not how it's going to be. If we have to build this new team, I don't know. We just need to pass a policy where everybody will have to work for their income. If that's the case, so many people are going to work. We cannot keep on sitting around. Even if some people, if the issue is, if you know you can't even do the client work, but you can do the internal ops, like you take care of the budget, you take care of the payroll, it should be done on time. Then there are some of us that can sacrifice and do only the client work, and the income is gonna come in. But some people they don't even know how to do the internal ops, they don't even know how to do the client work. Normally, Mahmoud was supposed to be training others. I'm really pissed off when it comes to Mahmoud's issue. Mahmoud was in FKM before me. So I should not be the one training him, but on the other way around, he should be the one training me. He was supposed to be training others on the internal ops. Why we take care of the client. So we
Yeah.
just need to
So
see how to figure this out seriously, because it doesn't really make sense that others should be working, others should be enjoying. We cannot work like elephant, then we eat like ants.
yeah, I totally agree. And like in the models that I'm working on for the new Unity branch, and Alberto's working on his SVN branch, right? The goal is to eventually have 3 teams, right? That we would have separate teams that are functioning and supporting the network in the vortex. So the models that we are working on, that I'm working on, basically it would be extremely easy to fire people. Well, not extremely easy, but much easier to fire people for if they're not capable of doing the work. Because right now it's like you hire someone, we can't fire them. So I'm trying to work on policies that's basically okay. You can't. We'll hire you. We'll give you a chance, but if you can't do the work, you can't continue to get paid. Like you
Yeah, of
can't drag.
course. That's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, but so
If you have been hired, you go like 2 months, you're unable to do the work, you get away. Well, those that can do the work should continue.
yeah, so we have to figure out a way to fire people that is, you know, that is fairly based on actual verifiable work involvement, right? It should be, there should be a way that it can be done where it's not personal. It's not like like, oh, we don't like you and da 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 da, and like, because no one likes that, no one wants to do that. But it's like, okay,
Yeah.
here's the verifiable work outputs and the expectations of what happened. You didn't meet the criteria, which is, at least 50% or at least 30% or whatever it's going to be of what your internal ops output or whatever your expectation was. And then if you don't meet that, you automatically get fired, or put on probation, or something happens. Where what we have now, it's like nothing ever changes. No one actually there's no accountability, right? And so
Mhm.
it affects everybody, and here we are. So I'm confident that you will all be able to find a solution. In the Unity branch that I'm doing it, the solution, basically the primary solution I'm going with, is just no upfront pay. Like, I'm going more to a volunteer route that's token only, right? But that's not a great solution. So with Alberto's model, he wants everything to be upfront pay based, right? Whereas in my model, I don't want to do upfront pay, but his model will be a lot easier to fire people. Um, anyway, so each of the teams is going to have different policies. They're going to have different processes, different ways of arranging and working and having accountability. And the FQN team, which is the continuity of the many, many years, will decide itself how it wants to function. Does that make sense?
Yeah, we can equally. I don't think there's anything that can stop us from bringing up such a policy where if you don't meet a percentage of work, you get fired. I think we should equally implement that policy, because if we are at this level where we are today, it's because someone will just come and say hi on Discord and they'll go and attack Terry us. So we end up having internal ops as so many of them. That's more than the client has. So that's just what led us into this mess that we are today. And if we continue without solving that problem, we'll still end up in the same mess, and which is really too much because it's a lot on someone's head. So we just need to figure out. That's just it.
Yeah, and if we can solve that problem, I mean, there's only two ways to address the work output. It's either one, you fire people who don't do the work, and you give people a chance and you fire them if they can't do the work, or two, you don't hire people and you just don't even give them the chance unless you know they can do the work. That is much more expensive, obviously, and there's less training involved, but it's like those are your two options. I don't know of any other options. Either you hire people that you're not sure if they can do the work and you give them a chance and then you fire them if they can't, or you verify and you make sure that people can do the work before you hire them, which is typically much more expensive. So those are your two options. The In the other context, it's like, if we can solve the problem of the team being so upset and actually addressing all not the contention, because we're addressing the contention with the forks. The forks will address 90% of the contention because we won't have to work together anymore, right? I can do my thing, Alberto can do their thing, you and Joyce and Lucy can do your thing, right? So there'll be three separate teams, so we don't have to force ourselves to get agreement, right?
So it's like
So that will
async,
be it.
Jay?
No, we can still have synchronous
Okay.
sessions and
Okay.
everything, and we can all work together. We don't have to argue about money because all the money and budgets will be separated, right? So
Okay.
in the context of the specifically the solution of getting the work moving forward, and I'm not talking about 5% of the work or 10% of the work. If we can actually get like 25, 30%, even like 50% of the work moving forward, we should be able to be successful. Like, we have everything we need to be successful. The internet is right there. We do all the social media. We be posting every single day. We can have all of our websites functional. Like everything is ready to go if we just could figure out how to get over the problem of just it's just too easy to just not follow through with the work. Right? So if we can figure out how to solve that, I think we could be very successful. And I'm still willing to give this a chance, probably the last time, because we're running out of money. So I don't think we'll have another chance. I think this is the last time. But if we can
Mhm.
solve this problem once and for all, I think we'll be in pretty good shape. So I'm in no hurry. There's just no hurry to rush this. If this is our last chance, all that matters is doing it right. We need to take the time, figure out to how to do it in a way that makes sense and that works. And luckily, we will have three teams. So any of the three teams can be successful, and one of the other ones might not be successful, and we could still be successful as a network, right? So we basically, instead of just putting all our eggs in one basket, our goal
Yeah,
is
we
having
just spread
three
them.
interdependent teams that are working together in parallel. So, for example, if SVN gets a new client, that will help all three of teams because
Yeah.
we can all work with that money and share the money. And the same thing if the Unity team starts bringing in money, it can be shared with the other teams. And the same thing with FQN. So any of the teams being successful will help all of the teams, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
you know, but at the same time, if some of the teams collapse or one of the team collapse, there's still two teams that can continue. So it just, I think overall, it's a really good model. This is exactly what has always been intended from the very beginning. And even way back in the day with Lucy and others, we tried to start forks, but they never happened. And I can give a lot of reasons why they didn't happen and what has changed. But either way, this time it is definitely happening if we can get through this disillusion process and restarting the new beginning. But I'm excited. I mean, this meeting on Thursday was exciting. This was the first time that I've heard in a main session, and actually communicating about moving forward. Because for the last 2 months or more, it has all been the past and all been the money. And this was the first time we actually talked about moving forward. So if there's agreement on Monday to get approval of a budget, pending HR board review, pending CUS. There would immediately have to start figuring out client work and getting to work immediately as
Yeah.
quickly as possible. So it's
Mm-hmm.
to bring an income so that people can get paid. So, anyways, that'll we'll have to deal with that on Monday. But
Mm-hmm.
either way, let's try to do as much as we can on the reconciliation, even if we could do like another month or two, and we are halfway there, we could kind of like double that and then kind of have an idea of maybe what the overall reconciliation might look like.
Gotcha.
Maybe the next moon month we should skip to one of the months where we have like full ACU value, because then that will give
Mm-hmm.
a obviously in the 117 moon month, there's no ACU work, right? So
Yeah, in
that
36 there is.
yeah, so let's skip to a moon month where there's obviously ACU work because um, that's $4,000 a month of income. That's where all the bonuses are coming. That's where all of the money is coming from to get paid. So this 117 moon month, we're not expecting to get a lot of money out of this because there was no client work, and this is basically one of the least amount of money we had. So let's try to get into a month where there's more money involved. Okay.
Okay. So Jay, for the new team that will continue with FQN, since you are creating the Unity, are you still going to be available to work with FQN?
Yeah, I just don't want to get
Okay.
paid from it. So I will be,
Okay.
but it'll be in a different capacity. So my involvement will be mainly, advising, doing some training, helping out with main sessions, whatever I can do to move it forward. I'm still very vested in it, interested in it being successful, but I want to step out of obviously the management roles and the just like day-to-day involvement, and I want to um, reduce and limit the client work. So one of the client expectations for the new budget will be to redo the entire potential income. And we're going to be removing everything from the FQN where basically that I am intricately involved and needed. So, you know, I'm open to keeping something like RSVP or whatever it's called, for the real-time virtual assistant work, but you know, things that are on a borderline would be some of the our real-time assistant work, the executive support, like the executive support might be changing, and then I would say assets would be on the side of keeping, right? So, but maybe in a lesser capacity. So it's like, sure, we could do some asset work, but it would be related to these specific responsibilities or these specific components of the assets, like the monthly accounting verification, other components of the support. So it just depends, like how we want to set it up. But all of the taxes remain, all of the sponsorship remains, like 90% of all, like not 90%, but like 70% of all of the um, client work, it doesn't need me. You don't need me to do that work. Yeah, I could help with a little training, I could help with a little here and there, but once you learn it, I don't need to be involved, right? Or I don't need to be involved on a day-to-day basis. I just need to check in every once in a while. So that's the goal, is to empower the team, the new team, to be functional and successful without even needing me. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Cool.
Okay. Yeah. It makes sense.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, let's reduce down to the client work that we know that the team can be successful with, right? And get rid of everything that's not happening at all, right? And then from there, um, that will affect the output of the budget. So the more client work we cut, the worse for the budget, because if you have less potential income to bring in, there's less money in the budget to pay people. So depending on how much we want to cut out of the client work, it would depend how many people we can hire in the budget based on all the work getting done. So, in the context of when we go through this client expectation, which is basically updating the potential income, okay, yes, let's keep this one. Yes, let's keep that one. Okay, we're gonna get rid of this one. It's like we all want to make sure we're in agreement. Okay, but nobody wants to work on this, so let's get rid of it, right? So basically, go through, like, if you look at the um I don't know, let's look at the 165 automated single spreadsheet, and we go to the client work potential income, right? So this is potential base income. We have line 2 to line 60. So there's like 65 possible income priorities, right? So we would go through each of these and be like, okay, does anyone want to work on this? If no one wants to work on it, no one thinks they can do it, let's just get rid of it, right? We keep all the taxes, we can keep all the bills, we can keep all of the sponsorship. Again, POS, we could keep some of the POS. Executive, we might consider just getting rid of this entirely. And we can definitely keep some of the SVG and UMCUS, right? So in the vortex, we can keep some of the vortex. So we just want to go through each part and just be like, hey, what are we getting rid of? I definitely want to keep the planetary sessions. Planetary sessions, super easy, not a problem. Like, we should easily be able to do that. So anyways, going through one at a time, seeing what we want to keep, what we want to get rid of, and then reducing the total client expectations, which will help the team focus. And then we're going to calculate out, okay, what is the total? Like before, we had $7,000 a month total if all the work got done, but now it might go down to like 4,000 or 5,000. I don't know. It just depends how much, and that will determine how much money there'll be in the budget. Okay.
Okay, Jay.
All right. I will talk to you soon. Any other last questions, comments, ideas, else?
Um,
Okay, so are we meeting tomorrow, Andromeda? Hydra 3? Am I
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, if you can announce it on the Discord, that would be great.
Pardon, Jay?
just put
If you
in
can
Discord.
announce it on Discord, that would be great.
Okay. Okay, Jay.
All right, cool. All
Okay,
right,
thank you
I'll
very
talk to
much.
you all soon. Bye.
Okay, Jay.
Okay.
Bye.
So Ate, we will Ate.
Hmm?
So you can
Yeah.
just reply on my message you announced this time. I
Where
told
is
them
your
all.
message
See,
exactly?
My message in active personal, you can also transfer your tracking hours from the old to the new. Is there in the new